All right, let's talk about money now here. We've all been there probably. You get asked to donate money or maybe to loan cash to a friend or chip in for something you really didn't want to spend money on. It can be kind of awkward. So the question is, how do you handle it without feeling guilty or awkward or straining relationships? Here to talk about this thorny issue and some helpful tips for it, money and business expert Derrick Kinney. Derrick, thanks for being on with this. I think that, a lot of people have probably walked away from those conversations feeling like, golly, that didn't go well. I didn't feel good inside about that, and I don't think it went off the way it should have.
You're right, Jason. These are personal conversations that can really make you feel awkward and less than if you don't handle it well. So let's make sure we help a lot of people today.
All right. So, people get this ask all the time for, to donate for something or the other. Let's say you don't have cash for that. What do you tell somebody?
Well, the key is, what is the relationship you have with that person? And we talked before about being vulnerable and honest is the best way to go right now financially. If you know the person very well, simply saying, thank you for the invitation, but it's not in our budget right now to be able to do this, or it's not something that we can put ourselves in a situation to spend money on right now, is the best way to handle that. And also have your dignity and make sure you're not beating yourself up because you couldn't do it.
Yeah, I like the right now in there because, maybe down the road I'll be interested, but don't ask me again. All right, so this next one can be kind of tricky, as you know, because as those relationships get closer and closer in, it can become harder and harder to say no. Let's say a friend or family member asks you to loan them money. As we know, Derrick, there have been many fights that have begun that way. What's the best way for you to handle that?
Well, first of all, anytime a friend or family member asks for money, always think of it as a gift and never a loan. That's how you have to approach it because you're probably never ever going to see the money come back to you. The question is, do you want to help them? And it's okay to ask, hey, what's your plan for making this money back? How will you grow your business or your idea with this money? But also remember that it is your money and you always have the right to say, right now is not a good time for us, but we wish you all the best with this idea.
Okay, so let's say now next that you are invited to an expensive event that you don't necessarily want to attend and you sure don't want to have to pay to attend. How do you say no there without, looking like a cheapskate, feeling guilty, beating yourself up over that?
Well, and what you described is how many people feel about it, so they sort of guilt themselves into doing it with money they don't have to impress people off and they don't really care to impress. And so the key is, what level of relationship do you have? If these are close personal friends, simply say to them, hey, we don't like to be part of big groups. We don't like to go to events like this. We love you. Let's go to dinner privately and not be part of this event. So that's the way to do it. Or if you don't have that close of a relationship, simply say, you know what? We have a scheduled conflict that night. We can't do this, but hope the event is a big success.
I like that. Create an alternate event that maybe doesn't break the bank there and just do that thing one-on-one with somebody. That's a good idea. Kind of get you out. Last one here. We were talking about family members and how that can get odd or tricky. Let's say it's son or daughter asking for more money. You know that that's going to happen at some point and probably many times. You're a dad. How do you handle that one?
Well, this is tricky. And again, the key of all this is to expect these situations to happen so you're not caught by surprise. And also realize, Jason, you don't have to respond in the moment. You can always say, give me some time to think about this. But having said that, you want to ask yourself, if a son or daughter needs money, as a parent, you want to help. But what is the best way to help them? Is it to give them money, or is it to not give them money and help them think through how can they work themselves out of this problem? You've got to determine as a parent, and that intuition you've got, which is going to be the better pathway for them. Sometimes giving them money may be the best way, but oftentimes not, even though it may hurt you, is the better way. The goal is, what will make them a better person 1 year from now? That's how to make the decision.
That's a good way to think about it. I'm the king, by the way, of saying, let me have some time to think about that, just like you were talking about there. Derrick Kinney, thanks as always for the great advice, man. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jason.